Guys, welcome to Bridges of Belief. I am so excited to be here after the conversation we've had about this podcast. My name is Kevin Porridge. This is Poya Hodari, and this is Jessica Carlton Santosa.
Santosa Carlton.
Santosa Carlton.
That's
My
okay.
apologies.
No one
My
cares
apologies. We care, Jess. It's all right.
You're making the stalkers, it's making their job hard. Come on, man.
All right. So I'll kick off with this. I went to New Caledonia last week, and while coming back on the plane, I watched this movie, Matchmakers.
Materialist.
Oh, the Materialist.
Kevin's memories is on point this episode.
Baby
So,
brain.
Shout out to my wife, Lisa.
So here's the thing. I was blown away by this movie because for the first time, everything that I feel like Jess, our co-host, has been talking about, I'm finally understanding. So, and it made me think, Jess, we had a conversation with you coming on to our podcast, and I don't think we went deep enough into your world, into understanding what it's like to be a matchmaker, because it's actually a very, very unique experience. I don't know any other jobs that have those unique pressures and those unique challenges.
Right.
So today, we want to dive deeper into your world, into who you are in regards to your job, what it's like in your world, and basically some messages you can share with people who might want to work with you. So, Jess, to get started, here's a question. And I asked you to watch the movie, and you did.
I did.
Yes, awesome. So my question is this. How accurate was that movie in explaining what your world is like? What were the things that were really accurate? What were the things that were like not really so much?
Okay, so I wrote some notes during the movie. I'm dead serious. I was out in my A4 notebook taking notes. I'd be like, that's exactly how I feel. And Tom would be like, write that down. I'm like, okay, writing it down in my purple pen. But that was like the second half of the movie. I think the first half of the movie, I was more curious and just wanting to enjoy it. Thank you, Celine Song, the director, who's Korean. Anyway, but
Shout out to South Korea.
I love the South Koreans. I don't want you to be extinct as a nation. Anyway, but how accurate? Okay, so in terms of Dakota Johnson's character, Lucy's experience of the entitlement of most of her clients, I felt very on par. I felt very seen by the movie. How she was basically being very like, yes, I will give you everything you ask for, like a genie, sitting at that cafe with every client that came up. And then in sort of like this secret conversation, she's having a smoko with a colleague who's also a matchmaker, and she says, she's entitled like all of them are. She's okay attractiveness, okay okay personality, okay this, okay that. And I just thought that's exactly a conversation I'd be having with a matchmaker colleague as well.
Yeah.
So in so many
It's not
elements,
very nice, Jess. No,
and I will go into that. There are so many elements where I felt very seen, and I also thought of Eliza Ben Shalom, who's the Jewish matchmaker. I enjoyed watching her work on her Netflix series, which is more documentary kind of series style.
What's it called? I think I've heard of it.
The Jewish Matchmaker or Jewish.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Matchmaker.
Oh, very direct.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that.
Indian Matchmaker, I felt like there's a whole other culture that I'm not privy to, which felt very like otherworldly. Whereas the Jewish Matchmaker, I feel as a Christian, I feel like, they're almost our brothers and sisters in Christ anyway. So anyway, all that to say, not that they believe in Jesus, but hey, all that,
podcast.
all that to say, something that struck me about both the Lucy character and Eliza Ben Shalom is the refusal to confront the client on their immaturity. Right. And when I and I understood that you've got to understand the timeline, the rapport building, that journey you go on with your client. So if it's first initial meeting, you don't really confront them on their immaturity straight away. It's kind of inappropriate for, like in a new friendship, you don't straight away go, did you realize you've got a huge mole in your face and you should really check it out? Like you don't really say that to a new friend.
Yeah.
Just like.
So it requires so much finesse from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think this is why I enjoy coaching more than matchmaking.
Okay. So I want to ask you this question. So tell us, because for other people, sometimes it can get confusing because you are doing a few different things and tough things too. You're doing coaching, you're doing matchmaking. So can you just give us a little bit of a quick summary pitch? No, jokes. No, but a quick like overview of what it is that you actually do.
Yeah, okay. So my core business would be Romantic Intelligence 101, which is an 8-week group program for women, and they get 12 months of support from me to find their husband. But in those 8 intensive weeks in the coaching container, they basically are completely seen by me. I completely focus on them. I look at their dating patterns, their personality type, their expectations, whether they're entitled or not, the maturity level, and the modules that I take them through basically help reset their whole paradigm in a much deeper way. And then so that's my high ticket $3,000 program, and then I have a lower priced one that's more entry level, and that's $97 called Romantic Reset, and that's like 5 modules of the 8 that give them like a beginner tasting of what coaching would be like with me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to ask you this question, right?
Yeah.
Now, for anybody listening to what you're saying now, I can imagine there's someone who doesn't really understand your industry. Now, I get it, and Poya gets it too, but they're sitting there going, wait, isn't your job just to help me find a person? Like, what is all this extra stuff that you're doing in the coaching program? So, so what would you say to that person?
Yeah. It's a lot harder than it looks, obviously.
Yeah.
The matchmaking bit is when it works, it really works, right? And so back in 2020, my friend had just gotten divorced. I don't think he would mind me telling you all this because he has a success story. He hadn't had any coaching, but the guy was married for many years. His wife left him and completely shattered his heart.
Oh, wow.
3 children.
Oh.
Yeah, no joke.
Terrible.
No joke. He was very devoted to his wife.
After
loved
how long,
his
Jess?
wife. Probably at least like 15 years of marriage.
What?
Yeah. Christians as well.
Wow.
They got married very young.
Okay.
And then she just, for some really, I'm not going to explain the reason that I'd heard or whatever. I'm not going to go into that. But she just unceremoniously left the marriage. Just said, I don't have any fight in me. I don't want to fight for this. I don't want to go to counselling. I just want to leave you. And we all really felt for him. Tom and I were really there for him, right?
Oh.
And he is still a really good friend of ours. Anyway, meanwhile, back over here in the dateability land, one of my female clients just kept saying, Jess, do you have anyone to match me with? Jess, do you have anyone to match me with? And I said, you know what? This girl and this guy, why not? Like, I just thought, why not? But previous to this, I was doing a lot of matching. I was doing way too much for the couple. Like, I was paying for their comedy store tickets.
What?
I was going to the venue. I was physically introducing them to each other, right? I was doing all this stuff to introduce them. I was basically holding both their hand and going, here you go, meet each other, have fun on the date, and leaving. And then telling the comedy store attendant, look after my couple. Like things like that. I was doing so much for every match.
I love the effort.
I'm just curious of the financials. Was that like you paying for their dates? Was that part of the fee proposal?
It was very financially very stupid. But anyway, I was doing way too much.
How did you budget for that?
And I was having dinner with a girl beforehand, preparing her for the whole thing. Yeah, I know it was silly, very silly. But
shows you care though.
Yeah.
Shows you care. I like that. Yeah.
Now I can be a lot more hands off and be completely at peace with every action I take as a matchmaker because I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So with this man and woman that I'm talking about, this divorcee and this other girl, I thought, okay, you know what? I'm just going to be really low effort about it. Here's her number, call her, whatever. And that's what I did. 3 months later, they both are like, thank you so much for introducing me to, I think I'm going to marry this person. And I was like, what the heck happened there? I was like, that's the least amount of effort I put in any sort of match. And look at the magic that happened. I was like, what is the formula here? How can I bottle this up and teach it to everybody that crosses my path? Because they need to know what this, how these people fell in love and all this kind of stuff. And when I boil it down, I could talk about how physically, geographically, there was close proximity.
Just something that I just have to say, Jess.
Yeah.
Something that just blows my mind when I'm thinking about it is like, if you're responsible for how many people have like
Gotten married?
Got married with you?
Approximately 13 to 15.
How many years have you been doing that?
Like, actually.
In terms of like, okay, so Dateability has been a side hustle since 2015.
Yeah.
And I was a full-time social worker and I was doing it on the side. And then I had a baby and I said to my husband, I want to do Dateability full-time. And that was 2021. So since 2021, like not really full-time because I've always been a mum doing it. So 10 years officially, but in terms of like really seriously doing this since like 2021. Yeah.
Those are some really good numbers.
That's some
great numbers.
You know what?
Yeah.
You beat the chick in the movie as well because she only had 9.
Yeah, they're like, how? Oh, 9, she gets a cake. I'm like, dude, I got 13. I got no cake. I got no bit.
We'll get you a cake.
I love it. But you know what? Like the thing that was blowing my mind as I was thinking is like, imagine being responsible for 13 to 15 marriages. For people literally going their entire life of the person that they end up with and they're working with and they're living with and they're raising kids with is all because of the person that you... That is insane if you think about it. Like their entire life is like basically altered by you. That is a huge level of pressure and a huge level of like reward.
This is coaching as well though. Coaching and matchmaking.
Okay, so I had to ask you about that, right?
Yeah.
Because once again, people will just be like, oh, well, isn't what she does like on the coaching angle, like why do you need coaching? Isn't it just you just get together? So tell us about that. Why do people need coaching? Why does it matter?
The quickest way I can explain this is I have a dear friend of mine, Lisa, who did speed dating events for years. Like speed dating events, basically creating the access for singles to meet each other and mingle and find someone of the same values that they'd hit it off with, etc. And after like doing 10 of those events, she said to me, people need you, Jess, because people can have every opportunity in the world, but if their mindset is shoddy, they will squander every opportunity because they don't know what to do with the opportunity.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to a church full of very attractive people. And the common thing I hear is, we're all the single guys, we're all the single girls. I'm like, they're all there. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And I think, and I talk to a lot of them.
You just don't know how to look.
You don't know how to look, and you're also like, there's some narratives in your head which I'm very curious about, Jess. What is I don't even know if you can share it, but what is one of the weirdest, I guess, narratives that you've heard a client say, a matchmaking client, that you're like, the level of delulu here is
delulu.
Is pure delulu. Do you know what I mean? Like, like I'm thinking of the guy in the. So a good example is, in The Materialist, there's that guy, I think he's like a Wall Street guy, and he's saying, oh, I'm ready to settle down. I want someone who's a bit more mature. And he's in his like 40s, late 40s, I think he's 47.
Yes.
And then Dakota Johnson's character, the matchmaker, says, oh, I've got this perfect girl for you. She's 30. He's like, oh, I was thinking 20s.
Oh, 27. Yeah.
Like that level of like delusion. What is
29 is pushing it.
Yeah. Which I agree with. No. Cut that. No. Yeah. What are some of the weirdest stuff that you've heard clients say that make you think, oh, this is gonna be a lot of work?
I would love to share a detailed story, but I really can't. I'm so sorry, just because I do respect my clients, confidentiality and
of course.
Okay, just
matchmaker client privilege. But I can say, it's that woman or that man who considers this sort of person a 10 out of 10, but is not that themselves. So
so then what happens?
Yeah, they want to punch far above their weight. And I have so much to say about that. I have so much to say.
Okay, tell us about that.
Okay, well...
Because what happens if they do that?
Okay, so if you want a 10 out of 10 in your eyes, you need to be the 10 out of 10 to attract that type of person back. And if you don't attract them back, you need to see that as feedback and then actively start changing yourself. So this is the economics of dating.
That to the right people or to the wrong people, that could seem very harsh. Right. So I can imagine your job that's another thing that's tough. Yeah. You're breaking that to them.
Yeah. Exactly. That some people, someone like Jamie Zhu, we've had Jamie on our show before. He is man in his early 30s, very successful.
Unicorn.
Very handsome. Yes, he's a unicorn. He's human though. He's got his own things to work on. Love Jamie very much, and I've grown very close to Jamie. But someone like him and every woman will hate me saying this, but he is in a buyer's market, as in he has his pick of women. So he has the equivalent of $10 million, wants to buy a house in Mossman. I checked the median price for a house in Mossman or Balmoral. It's like $5.7 million. So he's got the $10 million to spend on an average house in Mossman if he wanted to, in the best real estate, suburb in Sydney.
Right.
He definitely has the wherewithal, the resources, the status to get the hottest woman in her 20s. The only thing is, he's a Christian, which shrinks the pool even more because he also has, obvious to all of us, the quality that she needs to have is godliness and spiritual maturity. And that's very hard to find in a woman in her 20s.
Not only is it very hard to find, a lot of people will profess they have that when they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They oversell themselves for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's men. But for women, I mean, I talk about this all the time. Feminism has deluded women. Like, feminism has made women so delulu that I just want to, like, slap her around a bit.
Tell us more.
Because I'm just like, honey, you're 38 years old. Like, I met a woman, right? And I'm just going to say this. I don't think she'll listen to this podcast, but 38 years old, a doctor, Asian doctor, physically very beautiful, and I could tell that she would have been even more beautiful back in her 25 to even 32 range. Yeah. Back in her heyday, she would have been absolutely gorgeous. But what did she do? She put her career first as a doctor. And so many women think, well, I'm a doctor. Doesn't that make my status up here?
Oh,
and I think
this is interesting. This is very interesting.
If you're a 24-year-old med student, maybe, but you're older. Like, you're not at peak fertility anymore. Your hip to waist ratio might not be there anymore. I know that sounds so bad. I'm sorry. It sounds like I'm betraying women everywhere. But men do not care how accomplished you are. I asked Badu, right? I said to him when he was support coach for Dateability's RQ 101, I said, if a woman had a bachelor's degree versus a master's degree, would you care? He said, no. Why would I care about that?
Yeah.
And I said, exactly. This is what women think. Women think, I've got a master's degree. Shouldn't I get a man who earns way more than me, who's more educated than me? And I just think most men cannot compete with most women academically. They can't. Well, as in, like, okay, look at little boys versus little girls.
Yeah,
little girls can sit in a circle, write reports, colour in between the lines.
Can focus better. Yeah.
My sons, like, they can spell the name, but they cannot even write the first letter of their name yet, right? Like little boys, they can't sit still. They're
not as conscientious.
They're not as conscientious, exactly. Whereas women are more conscientious, more neurotic, so they're going to be more wired for the academia cubicle life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Sorry, you go.
No, keep going.
Well, okay.
So many threads to pull on here.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that
I don't disagree with you. I'll make that clear. But there's a few friends I want to.
Oh gosh.
Jess, this is a safe space. I'm gonna go on the record. I agree with Jess. Can I back you for a sec?
Yeah, go for it.
I tell this to all my female friends, and you can hate on me if you want, but like, as a man who's into women, I don't look for a woman's accomplishments in terms of attraction. No. Like, yeah, that's nice.
You wouldn't clock that as a reason you're attracted to her. It would be the more.
I do like a uni degree. I want at least a bachelor's so I know she can read. But other than that, like,
you want to have an intelligent conversation with the woman you love. But you don't want her lording that over you. No,
that's a big. And I've dated women like that, and it didn't work out. And I don't want to be with someone. I don't think most guys who, like, honestly, I don't think most men who are mentally healthy want that. To have someone dominate, like, use their intelligence against them.
Smarter than you.
Yeah, the whole like boss lady thing, like the
boss chick.
It's gross. I don't like it. I don't. Maybe some people do. That's cool. That's your thing. That's cool. But I think, for most men that I've talked to, none of them are really into that. Not to say that that's bad, but it's just, actually, I don't know. I think the whole...
You know what? There's definitely a thread to pull on there because there is a certain type of guy that is into that. And then the question then becomes, Is that like a
healthy
preference?
relationship.
Yeah,
Because I was talking about this with
yeah.
a special someone today. If you know, you know. But I would argue it's not because the polarity is reversed. Call me old fashioned, but I'm a big believer in the masculine feminine energy dynamic.
Like
and I think the man should be in the masculine.
Yeah,
I think the man needs to be in the masculine, and so I think that's a very traditionally masculine thing to be high status and to have a high level. Like that is something that would attract a woman to a man, but not necessarily a man to a woman, unless the polarity is reversed. Which I think I've never seen a healthy relationship where the polarity is reversed. Have you guys?
I completely agree.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're out there. I just haven't seen it.
Bro, it is such a this is such a rabbit
We're gonna
hole.
get haters for this one,
because it's
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm sick and tired of pretending we have to kind of
play to the feminist culture.
Yeah, and I'm not
the
even
feminized culture.
I'm kind of over it. I don't think it does women any good. I know a lot of single women in church who've been hurt by that because they bought into that, and now dating's really hard. And I think that. I don't think feminism in and of itself is bad. I mean, maybe I'm not familiar with it, but I think what you've said, this feminized culture, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not healthy. I don't think it's producing healthy relationships. But I don't know. What do you? I feel like you had some thoughts, Kev.
No. I think I definitely agree with you. But one, and there's such a rabbit hole that we can go down on this whole path. There's so many rabbit holes. But one thing that's just I don't think there's any main point to this, but I'm just curious. When you think about those women who are like, oh, you know, I'm accomplished and stuff like that. This is just my perception. I put myself in their shoes and I don't think they did it for guys in the first place.
No.
I think the main reason why they did it is just because, you know, maybe they're upset at daddy and they want to prove daddy wrong or something like that. It's more it's more along those lines. It's more along they feel like, so because they're taking up a masculine ambition. They're just going, I need to be successful, and they're in the masculine maybe because they got hurt in their past and they feel like they need to be like tough, and that's who daddy's going to appreciate or something like that. So I think that's that for sure. But so I think that's probably the path, and then they get surprised when they're like, oh, but I thought guys are going to be into this, and maybe they're not. Or they end up finding a guy who's feminine.
Exactly.
And then they're always bitching about their husband. Always like, my effing, he's useless, doesn't do anything. Barry, why haven't you done the dishes, Barry? I work as a doctor. Do you know any of those relationships I've seen, not including my own extended family? What?
That was really funny.
I should have been an actor. And that's my audition tonight.
That is our number one reel. We gotta make that a reel. Remember that.
Barry! My husband's bloody useless.
But you know what? Yeah. Bringing this back to a really, really important point is, and I assume, and I'd love you to expand on this, that is obviously one of the reasons why you are a coach, because you challenge that before they get into a relationship.
Absolutely. And there's hope. There is hope for women who are over 30 and looking. Yeah. Absolutely hope for them.
Yeah. And so the question then is like, okay, so if that's one of the values of coaching is you focus on that, you help them realize that is a red flag, and you work on that. What are the other red flags that you help them work on?
Women or men?
Both.
Okay. Women, I know I'm a bit more confident with women, not because I am a woman, but because I focused on them for 10 years, right? On and off. You know, the entitlement, the delusion is definitely a big one. The thinking my achievements equals more attraction. That's another big one. Not understanding men. That's a very common one. Like it is so baffling to me why women who want to be happily married are not researching men. They're not trying to understand men and where they come from. Because that changed my whole perspective. It's probably the reason why I'm so happily married, because I get my husband. I get where he comes from.
Yeah, and that's the work. The work is researching.
I read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and I think that's one of the best books I've ever read because I did not understand women.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think so many relationship problems, not most of them, but a lot of them boil down to that issue. Yeah,
exactly.
And these are, it just reminds me of the Homer Simpsons that are like, oh, I don't get my woman. Oh man, like, oh, you know, she's just so hard to understand. Then figure her out. Like, then
Yeah.
figure it out. Like, go
Yeah.
and research and understand. And if you
Yeah.
read a book like that,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
it blows your mind and it just makes your life so much easier. So much easier.
Yeah, like
And
radical personal responsibility
Yeah.
over everything in your life. Finance, people do it with finance, the gym, relationships too.
Yeah.
Can happen.
Yeah. Because they keep getting into conflicts. Like, the amount of memes out there on how tough relationships are
Right.
shows that deep down there is some deep-seated like resentment and hurt from not being able to get through to your partner.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. And by the way, I'll participate in these memes and reels sometimes. Maybe it's my it's my way of being passive aggressive or something. But the point I'm making is that like there's obviously so many challenges that end up happening into a relationship that if you go to someone like Jess and you have a chat with and you learn about, like your life can be easier. So yes,
Yeah.
one of them is not understanding the opposite sex. What else is
Yeah.
there?
I'm just trying to think of what else.
Even
are
if it's for
women
men
guilty
too.
Of. Yeah, and then also not understanding the polarity thing and the dynamics of that, because women, as accomplished as they are, they don't know how pursuit works. Like, you know, one woman I was coaching, I said, okay, what are your dating actions? Like, what have you done this month? And she was like, oh, I messaged like 10 men. And I just thought, we talked about you coming to a place where you find yourself attractive, like you hiring a personal trainer so you start loving your body again, like things like that. There was all this inner work stuff that she wasn't doing that she could have been doing. And also the work is really different between men and women. So actually Matt McDonald said this so beautifully and articulately. He said, masculinity is forged, whereas femininity is preserved. Right? So with men, the masculinity can be worked on in the traditional sense of like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to, you know, save money. I'm going to learn how to invest. I'm going to read a bunch of books and like get all these mentors or something. You know, it's very clear what the KPIs are, let's say. Whereas
In that way, I'm very grateful of being a man.
Yeah.
There's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope.
it's a bit clearer.
And it's in your hands. That's what I love about being a man.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I agree with that.
Okay.
Okay,
say more.
okay,
you want me to-
all right.
okay,
Oh, let's go.
All right, go.
I think there's so many variables, right?
Yeah. The whole masculinity is
let's
forged
go.
thing?
Yeah, I
You
think
so? Okay.
because there's work to be done on that, right? Not that that's bad. I think we're both, you and I, both very privileged that we had. I feel for a lot of men that didn't have good fathers in their lives
Okay.
or good father figures. I think men with disability, that's another thing. It's tougher. I think there's a lot of unique challenges of building masculinity with that, because I think a big part of what society has deemed masculine, which I partially agree with, to be honest, is physical fitness, which is ironic seeing as I have a dad bod, but we're working on that. The abs are coming. We're going to be a Pilates girly soon. That's actually true. I just waited for my ankle to heal. But anyway, enough of my personal life. I feel for a lot of men who have disability. I don't think the world is very kind to them. I think there's a lot of unique challenges there. I think so much
You
of
mean like physical disability or something?
100%. I think men's mental. Oh, sorry.
I've been attracted to a guy in a wheelchair before. I just want to put that on the record.
I've actually met a guy.
very kind
There's
of you,
actually a
Jess.
guy we know. There's actually a guy we know who's in a wheelchair who was probably one of the most attractive guys I've met, and I would feel threatened by him if we're into the same
Well,
girl.
there you go.
He's got wrist, so you can overcome that. I think that
Yeah.
there's just
Is this Matt?
we should get him on.
Yeah,
He's a really cool
I'm
dude.
pretty sure you've had him, eh?
Yeah, he's a good dude. I met him.
He interviewed me.
Oh,
Actually.
really?
What's his name? I forgot his name, but anyway,
He's a beast. I met him last year at a party. Really cool guy. Yeah, we talked about you because I mentioned that we saw with mutuals. But I think the thing with that is I find it harder because I feel like as a man you have to constantly do the work to become the
Respected.
man. While
Yeah.
as a woman you're already inherently worthy of love.
Yes.
Okay.
And for men
Yes.
it's like we almost have to earn love, which it's something I still don't feel really comfortable about.
I hate it for men.
Sorry?
Okay, so I was listening to.
Also, you're saying it's harder for men.
I reckon it is hard.
I think it's harder for men.
I feel like-
I don't agree, and I'm so keen for this. Okay, tell
Really?
me your thoughts
Okay.
first.
Orion Taraban was saying that on a man's wedding day, it's so emotional for him because he's like, oh my gosh, this woman is going to commit to me and love me for life. You know, like I don't have to keep working. I mean, obviously he does have to keep working as she keeps working for him as well. But like, it's that like, oh, I can sort of stop striving here and stop wondering whether I'm good enough. It's like, now I have her. She's my bride. She's my wife. He explained it much better than I'm explaining it now. Whereas for a woman, you're right, has this inherent value. And if I'm just going to finish my point about masculinity is forged, femininity is preserved, the work is in preserving her softness, her nurturing, her slowness, her beauty, her youth. You know, every beauty product on the market is about how to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. Like that's everything in my skincare. Like when I'm creating skincare products for myself, like everything's about having good, plump, youthful skin. About you know, all this pressure to stay young and beautiful for women.
Yeah, I get you.
It's all about preserving, and not staying in the sun too long, or else you get wrinkles. So the work, the beauty stuff is important for women, but it's also the unlearning. Like that's where a lot of the work is as well. And I had this amazing client. She got married actually this year, Nancy, a woman in her 40s. The main thing with coaching Nancy was unlearning the autopilot leadership she always assumed. So every time she went into a room, she would assume the leadership of the conversation. She would assume, all right, who's cooking dinner? Am I cooking dinner? Like she'd be like, okay, what's happening? She would just take control all the time. It was just her autopilot. And I think that's the story for a lot of women today. They go on autopilot, assuming leadership, because they've been taught in the workforce that's how you get noticed, that's how you get promoted.
Wow.
Because a young girl feels like she's got to work extra hard to be taken seriously. And I was saying this on one of my stories about how
it's tough in that way.
Women, because women now live in this equality world, right, where she has to also join the workforce, pay her own bills, make her own money, you know. But I want to draw a parallel here for men, because when a man walks into a room, women think, oh, he's already going to be taken seriously. That's not fair. But I'm like, at least you get noticed, like for being pretty, like somewhat pretty. Whereas a man doesn't even get noticed. A man has to work extra hard to even be seen. Men don't even get seen.
I have so much to say on this.
Like in dating apps, 80% of men are getting swiped left on by most women. You know, Andrew Tate talks about in a nightclub, women complain they're getting attention from the wrong men, but at least they're getting attention.
That's right.
Men aren't getting any attention at all.
Yeah, that's right.
You go.
Because as a man, I've experienced this, I've seen this. I feel like the height thing has actually become this huge thing.
The height thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel like, I feel as a man, if you're not above, say, 6'4", you actually have to work to get noticed.
Yeah. Tom was saying
And that's the whole thing of like the forging masculinity. It's like,
right.
you can I think you can attract a woman who's very beautiful. That you may not be their physical type, but you have to put in a lot of work for that.
Yes.
While as a woman, I feel, and look, that presents its own challenges. Obviously, there's a lot of body image issues that women face, and I'm not blind to that. And I think that's a really horrible thing for women to have to go through. But from my experience, a man can do as much as he can to improve his physical appearance, but if he can't be a certain height, which is out of his control, it's there's still this massive gap. And you can close that gap. It's just more work.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that no one really talks about. Or when they talk about it, it's very in a victim way or in a very dismissive way. Yeah. Either guys being victims about or women being dismissive. But I think that's a really sad reality. And I think, we may be taken seriously in the business, in the corporate world, but when it comes to relationships, unless you're a really tall guy, or your status is very obvious, you're going to have to do a lot of work to attract a woman. Women are not going to come to you.
Yep.
And so I get very frustrated when I hear women say those things like, I didn't get noticed or they get taken seriously. Like, cool. But then there is another element where I do kind of resonate with the wrong guy because there's a lot of creepy guys.
I see.
So I guess maybe there's a safety element. I don't know if that adds another spanner in the works.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
But I've experienced it. I've seen it. I've seen it. If I'm with a tall guy and in my single days when we're talking to women, I'm probably not going to get as much attention. Or if I do, I have to work for it and use my charisma.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
for
is
sure.
that's just the reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a social worker and leading a mental health team, and I was hiring positions like for counselors and stuff, this man walks in, 6 foot tall, in a suit, and my boss who was next to me, also interviewing this person, said, "Well, when he walks into, wherever he walks into, they're going to think he's the doctor." Like immediately he has status because of his height. Anyway, I got to know this man and I became his manager, and he was significantly older than me. And I just thought, what a muppet. I just thought, it is so unfair. You have the age and you have the height, because everyone takes you more seriously than me just by looking at us. They don't clock that I'm the manager. They think he's the manager just because of his age and his height. And I'm like, it's so not fair.
Yeah.
But then, that's me in the workforce thinking that. And yeah, Tom was saying the other day, and also on the Materialists, like how height is an immediate status marker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And in the Materialists...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Basically, they give him a short king backstory.
Yeah.
This is what Malak Bonobi was saying. She's like, why do they give him a short king backstory? That's
that was
so
really-
lazy.
that was
I
really-
like that. No, I thought that added
really,
a lot.
It was really interesting for me that they did that. I was just like, they didn't need to do that.
No, I
I'm
think
curious as to why they did.
I think it added a
Interesting.
lot.
Tell me why you think that they did
Because
that.
even though he had all the money and everything, it still wasn't enough. Because I think height is actually a really big thing that I honestly, like the apps, I don't know. I put just from my experience, I felt like I put a lot of effort. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I put a lot of effort into my profile, and I had another friend who didn't put as much effort,
Yeah.
and he's significantly taller than me, and he was slaying, and I was like, all right, cool. And like, whatever, that's what it is. And again, like, I accept that. I'm not going to be a victim about it. But yeah, a lot of times I've heard girls be like, I would like a guy, like if they had preferences, I would like a guy who's 6 foot. And I feel like if as a man I said I would like a woman who's shaped a certain way, it's like, whoa, how dare you? But a lot of that's in their
That's a double standard.
and I think a lot of that
totally
is within
double
in a woman's control.
Right.
But height's not in our control unless you get the surgery, which then comes with a lot of
Absolutely.
issues.
Is
Because
it even a real surgery?
it is a
Yeah,
real
it is.
surgery,
Oh,
but it's
so
bad. It's like long-term like health issues.
Oh, really?
You can't really walk properly.
Did you look into it?
I did. I was looking at
Oh, like, oh, is that a real thing?
I like my height. I'm very proud to be a 5'10" king.
Because I don't even think that's short.
That's not short, but still, like, it's not short, but like a lot of, I would say most of the single guys that I have been around have been probably 6 foot. And so I'm usually I feel like I'm usually the shortest.
No way.
And so if I'm going to get a foot in, I have to put a bit more effort in, which again, fine to do that. It's worked out well for me now.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely have noticed that when a guy's tall, there's a certain natural respect. And this is the thing. I feel like women complain a lot about advantages men have. It's really only 1%, a small percentage of men.
It's a minority of men.
It's a minority of
that
men.
have
I
these
find that really
advantages,
frustrating. And
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So I guess, just that. I think that was good they put that. I feel like that was good they put that in the movie because you see this character, he's a billionaire, Pedro Pascal's character.
Still wanting something.
And it's still like, he still did that. He still did that because that's how cooked, I think he was trying to say that's how cooked the dating world is.
Yeah.
It's like something as
yeah,
uncontrollable as your height
Yeah.
will dismiss all the other hard work.
Yeah.
Because and I never felt like height was a problem until post-COVID. I never really was self-conscious about it until probably 2021 onwards.
Yeah.
That's my personal feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just say, I want to say one thing that the Materialists really highlighted, because I don't think it was as deep as it could have gone.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and Amala Ekbonobi in her review of it she was like, oh, there's no depth to these characters. They're so flat, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, no, I agree with that assessment of all the characters and their development. But the funnel, okay, because a man who is tall puts him in the funnel of so many more women than a man who's shorter. And women are harsher about the physical attributes or the ticking the boxes. You know how Lucy's character kept saying he ticked a lot of boxes. It was a strong match with a lot of potential. She would like use those lines. I took so many notes during this. I was like, strong match, potential. But it's unfair to men that a woman who is less mature will get so worked up about her boxes and about his height, and she won't even look into a man who is a little bit shorter, not as good looking. She won't lean in, she won't be curious, and that is a maturity test. Okay, can I just explain my maturity test? I did a carousel the other day on this, but like the maturity test is basically when I introduce a woman to a man, like I match them, arrange the introduction, they go on the date, and just because he's not her immediate type, she clocks out or she checks out immediately. She won't be curious about him. She won't go, well, let's just see if I can, have some dating practice for this hour. It's only 1 hour of my life. What can I lose? She doesn't have this mentality or this attitude or this mindset of, well, I'm here to learn. And that is, let me
be curious.
Yeah, exactly. It's that curiosity mindset that is laced with humility. She has to be humble about that whole thing. Whereas I think...
Isn't it interesting that the people who seem to be curious, they seem to get good outcomes in life?
Absolutely.
And the people who seem to be closed,
absolutely,
they seem to be the people who will just never find someone and never succeed in work and never succeed in anything.
Because they're so entitled.
Yep.
And it drives me up the wall. And I can say that because I've done this for too long now, where I see it all the time. And I just think, honey, if you just stop being so entitled and you listen to what I said, you'd have better outcomes. This is why Aaron and Sally got married. Yeah. Right? This is them. They weren't mine because they're all over Dateability's everything, right? I'm always advertising them. Yeah. Because he was so fed up with his ex-wife's immaturity and she was fed up with her ex-husband's immaturity, and they were just like, I just want a nice guy or girl that I'm attracted to and that I get along with. And they found that in each other immediately.
And they love each other.
And they do love each other.
Yeah. I have some questions on that.
Yeah.
Because this is something I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I don't believe in settling, and I don't think you do either.
No.
Oh, I like where this is going.
So when you say... There's two thoughts I have here. Yeah. And I agree. I do agree with you. I agree with you with the maturity test that when women aren't as open.
Yeah.
How can they be open without settling?
Great question.
And why? And is that same? And should that same expectation be on men? To be more open to women who they may not initially be attracted. And I guess where's the line of like someone you're completely not attracted to someone that is like, where's the line between being open and settling?
Great question.
What's the balance?
Great question.
Okay, all right. There's so many parts to this.
Oh, this is such a good question.
So I endorse just give them 1 hour of your time. And I understand you've traveled in there or whatever, and as a gentleman, you've got to go halfway or to her location of Sydney or wherever you live in the world. I understand that. Okay. So many women say to me, I just don't want to waste his time. I just don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste each other's time. And I'm like, what's 1 effing hour of your life? And maybe a few texts and 1 phone call, maybe a few days of lead up. It's not that much time in the whole scheme of things. And also, how's your immaturity going for you, huh? Like, are you getting any luck doing your dating strategy the way you have been for the last 20 effing years? Like, seriously.
Dang, Jess is crashing out tonight. I'm done.
I love it.
When I was single, I was 27. I went out with a 45-year-old, a 40-year-old, like guys that I would never consider ever. I just gave them a go. And I'm so glad I did. I learned so much about men, humanity. I was kinder. And that, okay. All right, open without settling is a conclusion I was about to draw, but let's go back to your question. So
give them 1 hour.
Just give them 1 hour to start with. There is a gender difference between. I did poll a few women at my masterclass. I said, "Do you know immediately if you're attracted to the guy, or do you take a little bit longer?" Because I take a bit longer. I don't actually know whether I'm attracted to someone until I talk to them, hold their hand, touch them, and then I'm like, oh, I am attracted. I told you that story. I think I told Nick this story, but how I went on 10 dates with a guy.
Oh, no, you told us this one. Yeah.
Okay, but I don't think I've told it on air. But I went on 10 dates with this lovely guy from church, and then he held my hand on the 10th date, which was like the first date that he said we were on. And I was like, oh, dear, you've invested so much in me, and I'm not attracted to you. Date number 10, he held my hand for the first time. And I just thought, we could have found this out like date 3. Like date 3, we could have held hands, and then I could have known. And I felt so bad. I felt like I really wasted his time. But he got something out of it too, because he was 39 and I was 27, and he was divorced. And he said, you know, thank you for giving me a go, because now I've re-evaluated my worth. Like, I thought that I would date another divorced woman who was a bit bitter and angry at the world and, you know, like used goods. And now I realize that I can date a nice woman in her 20s. And I was like, okay, cool. Good on you.
Interesting use of words.
But you know what? Something I want to say there is, just for everyone listening,
Yeah.
like, he chose to see it like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
He chose to see it
Good
like
point.
that because,
Yeah.
you know, one thing I have to say, and I was literally teaching this last week, and this
Yeah.
is such a valuable like thing, is whatever story that we tell defines what we experience and what we achieve. And a simple little kind of diagram for this is, if the story, and I always use this example too, if the story is that, you know, all the good ones are gone, then what type of action are you going to put in? You're probably not going
Exactly.
to put in energy.
Just give up energy.
You're going to give
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
You're not going to, you know, put yourself out there. You're not
Yeah.
going to go on the apps. And then what type of results you get, right? You get poor results. You don't get any dates. But then here's what's interesting.
Yeah.
Now that result feeds back into the story, and you go, oh, see, it's because all the good guys are gone. Or right. So now it becomes a loop
Yeah.
of whatever you say becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Right. And I can't imagine how much, like, just for anyone who's listening, who's just like, yeah, I'm trying to find a partner, just be careful of the stories you tell yourself, because it ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Amen.
Yeah. But yeah,
Amen.
go on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Open without settling. Okay. My
Yes.
theory is maturity, just like how Kevin pointed out so wisely, that the way you see how you date, like if you, I saw every date after post coaching, I saw every date as a learning opportunity. I thought, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
What can I learn about men? What am I like? How can I improve my game? What am I not seeing? Something I loved about older men is they were just so chivalrous, and they had resources. Like, they had a nice car, they had more money to take me out. They had, like, you know, they were just nicer. Something I liked about younger men, they were just a little bit more adventurous and like happy-go-lucky, and didn't care as much about, you know, just how they appeared or their image or whatever. So I noticed that I was learning a lot. In terms of settling, though, I do think that not every personality out there needs to date a whole slew of people to learn what I did. I felt like I'm the type of personality that needs to sample the whole buffet with boundaries. Obviously, I didn't kiss or sleep with these men until I was in a relationship with Tom. But I did. And then it made me realize the most important quality that I wanted from men, and I think this is true for a lot of women, is emotional safety. So that's what it made me realize. So settling. Okay. If you can call this settling, that's fine. But for me, I narrowed it down to 3 qualities that I really wanted in a husband. This is when I was single, I discovered this. Number 1, emotional safety. Number 2, drive to succeed in his own life, drive to make our relationship successful, drive to raise the best family possible and have the best marriage possible. Number 3, accountability to Christ. And under that has all the umbrella that whole umbrella had everything else I wanted. The fact that Tom and I were culturally the same sort of Christian, the fact that we both have been part of megachurches for a really long time, served at megachurches, been burnt out by megachurches, like the fact that we love Jesus and we prefer a small group of people that are on fire for the Lord than, you know, being part of a big movement, for example. The fact that we really value kids' church, and that's what we serve in right now. Like, I narrowed it down to those 3 umbrellas, and it gave me most of what I wanted. Like, even in the other guys I was seeing their qualities there as well. And so I was talking to a married woman the other day.
So Jess, are you saying that, like, you can be open in certain things, but you can also have certain qualities that you don't budge for? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yep.
Yeah. And therefore, you're not settling because you still have a boundary in which of what qualities I want.
So is the question then distilling, what are the qualities you need?
Yes. And that takes enormous self-awareness and self-knowledge.
Which is what you
What
have
if
with
what if you need someone
Exactly.
who's 6 foot and has a $10 million property portfolio?
And then I would ask why. Is it because you grew up poor and people look down on you because you grew up poor?
Wow.
Like that was
So
my
you dig
mother.
into the roots of it.
Yeah,
That's
that
it.
was
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mother's
yeah.
psychology.
Yeah.
She was the daughter of an ayam goreng vendor, like a fried chicken vendor in Indonesia, in Jakarta. And she hated the fact that people looked down on her. And it's very status driven in Indonesia and a lot of parts of Asia, really, right? Like, you know, as an Indian,
Oh yeah.
right? So for her, me wanting to be a social worker was so embarrassing for her. She'd be like, "Why do you want to be a social worker? Well, you're smart enough to go study medicine or whatever," you know. So the status thing, you know, it became her values, part of her values framework, and she never challenged it either. And so the way she got there was marrying a really hardworking man in my father, who was an excellent provider. And then she was happy to deal with other problems in the marriage that were huge. And and you know how, you know, Kevin, you say all the time, voids become values. So I was void of emotional safety growing up. And that's why it's such a huge value of mine. Like I need to feel safe when I share about how embarrassed I feel because that person, you know, didn't see me or like, if I come home from a barbecue event and I say that to my husband in private, I need to feel held and I need to feel seen. That was a huge requirement for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, my husband isn't perfect, obviously, and I don't think anyone's husband or wife is perfect. But if you know your three key things, your three key values that you really need in somebody, in
Your
order
non-negotiables.
to, I don't know if that's settling or that's being smart about who you choose.
And that's a great response because when I think about it, we all know that to a certain degree that marriage is compromise. But there's also got to be non-negotiables. So that's what tells me that because of those two exist, that must be the answer, right?
That's really interesting because what I did, I gave you those two very superficial.
The 6 foot, $10 million.
Yeah, the two boxes.
Yeah.
And you were able to find the emotional core of that, the wounds. And I think that, I wonder if I guess that's a thing, right? We all have, when we look into our shallow requirements, there's usually a wound that drives that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, some people say that and they're quite flippant or jokey about it. And other people are like, no, I seriously want someone who's 6 foot.
Yeah. So what's driving that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the time, my assumption is that probably that person lacks maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I immediately
and you know what
judgment.
you know what that tells me, like there's a lot of those people who come around, they'll tell you this is what I want, right? But no one tells them. No one confronts them, and then they end up making huge mistakes.
Yes.
In relationships that waste like years and years of time, cause so much headache, and that's why it's important to have you, because who else is going to confront them?
Thank you, Kevin.
Right, and it's also, it reminds me of that scene in Materialist where she says, remember, she goes, that's why we're better than therapists.
Yeah.
Because who else is actually who actually tells them the truth?
Yeah.
You know, therapists are just so in a way, like the work that you guys do, it's huge. It really made me reevaluate, like, wow, it's such a powerful, like, people come and say to me, like, being a life coach is insane. Like, it's a very big position that you hold.
Yeah.
And then when I watched this movie, I was just like, wow, Jess, there's a big mantle that you hold in regards to what you do. It's a very, very big thing. Okay, so I really want to ask this because we kind of went over this, but we didn't get to.
Yeah.
In your work as a matchmaker, what patterns do you see in women who actually get married versus the ones who stay single?
They just give him 1 hour, for starters.
Yeah.
It sounds so terribly like I have a God complex or something. But my last client said to me, Jessica, I'll just do anything you tell me to do. I was like, I love you so much.
wait, and you know what? And this is the funniest. This is such a coach moment, right? And here's what I'll say. Call me egotistical, but they're the clients who succeed. I don't know why, they're just the clients who succeed. They're just the best clients. Like, bro, the people who come up to me, I'm just like, no. You tell me what to do, I'll do it, and they actually do it. They always seem to get the results. Hint to any of my clients. But anyway, I'll just say that there. I'll leave that there. Okay. Now, we did go over this question too.
Yeah.
But I do want to go maybe deeper on this. Is like, you mentioned modern women say they want a leader, but they don't know what that actually feels like. What have you learned about attraction, safety, and leadership through matching Christian couples?
Yeah. Yep. well, I talked about Nancy being an autopilot, assuming leadership all the time. There's this one woman I'm thinking of in her upbringing. It wasn't very safe. Let's just say she had parents that didn't make her feel very safe. And so she learned to deal with it by always taking control.
Oh, yes.
Right? So she learned, her nervous system learns to the way safety equals me taking control. So where is she going to naturally gravitate to in all her dealings with life? Control. She's going to deal with control. So if a man tries to take control even over, hey, I'm going to pick you up, or not pick you up, but we don't believe in picking someone up on the first date. But hey, how about we go here and we do this? And he tries to be a leader. He tries to be decisive. He tries to assume the leadership. That's great. That's very alpha of him.
No. We're doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? And suddenly she freaks out because she's not in control anymore. Yeah. So it's that whole like stated versus revealed preferences. Because she states, I want a leader. Then a man tries to take the leadership and she suddenly freaks out because she hasn't explored, she hasn't gone into the layers and the layers of layers of her unconscious and her trauma and how that's rewired her nervous system and why she reacts that way. She hasn't done any work on that deeper stuff. Yeah.
And just I'm going to come back to this in a second, but just as an experiment, right? And just because you're a guy, you've been in the dating field, you're in a relationship now as well. Like, tell us this, as a guy, when you want to be decisive and when a girl is kind of controlling and like, no, this is what we're going to do. What does that feel like?
Feels like me going out the door, going home. So,
It's like we're going out the door.
So, you good to catch an Uber home? I'll pay for the Uber. I'm a gentleman.
That is so nice of you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a monster.
Expensive.
But it's an investment you put in yourself when you date as well. You grow. Yeah, it's such a turn off. I don't like it.
Yeah, emasculation is like the dirtiest thing that you can
I don't think I've ever gone on a date. I don't ever go out with girls like that.
Yeah.
I really try to look out for that.
Yeah. Certain people attract that. Certain people attract those girls.
Yeah, I'm very like You
never get one of those controlling ones.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever dated.
Overly nice ones that do. Overly nice ones.
Which ones?
Like the overly nice guys that seem to attract those controlling ones.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I would say more passive as well. Not just nice, there are also guys. There are guys who are nice, but they're passive and they just take it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. I've got that Middle Eastern stubbornness. I could never. So for me, I see that immediately. My heterosexuality's gone out the window. I'm just asexual. It's just such a turn off, and
it is. It's
like
disgusting.
It is. I don't like it. It feels very like. It feels actually quite frightening because I'm like, are you gonna like hurt me almost like? Like, are you a safe person? Can I trust you? Yeah. Like, are you like genuinely? There's a bit of me that's like, oh, there's something sinister, almost not sinister, but I'm very uneasy around that.
For sure.
It's
disgusting. Now, Jess, we do have 2 minutes left, but I do want you to finish on what you were saying with the whole leadership thing. So, yes, what else do we need to say about attraction, safety, and leadership through matching couples?
Okay. Well, obviously we talked about the feminine masculine polarity thing. About women, the work women do is unlearning all the masculine traits that they've learned through feminism and just being in the world and being in the workforce. Very hard for single women. And I'm not saying this as like, oh, isn't it very hard for single women? But when I was a single woman, it was very hard because I wasn't a mother and a wife. I wasn't on the daily having to nurture all the time. I was having to lead, having to command, having to hire people, fire people. Like it was all masculine traits that were rewarded in my reality. This is why single women these days, modern women, find it very hard to be feminine. And I get that. And they think they can do it through getting their nails done, getting their makeup done. Like you can look very attractive, but masculine energy can be read from a mile away. Yes?
Yes? 100% true.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm going to quote Ali Wong of all people, but Ali Wong said in her latest special that she says, men when they mature, like when they're not, sorry, I'll start with when they're not mature. When they're not mature, they want a 9 or a 10 out of 10. They want some hot girl. They want to bang. They want a hot woman in her 20s. They want a 9 out of 10. Then they realize she's crazy. So then they graduate to, I just want a kind 6. I just want a kind 6 out of 10, right? And then she was implying that she's a kind 6 out of 10. I'm like, Ali Wong is not a 6 out of 10. She's at least a 7.5.
Yeah. She's 7.
It's kind of hot.
Solid 7.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so all that to say, like, women over 30, if you're listening to this and you're like, Jess, you've betrayed me in every sort of way and I hate you and I'm so sorry that I've said all these things. But there is hope for us. And the hope is being kind and being grounded. Because, and I'm noticing that in the men, my male client who's 38 and has been in a very successful relationship now, thanks to yours truly. But the woman I matched him with was also very mature, was also very open to hearing his orange flags. Orange flags, by definition, is not a red flag, not a green flag, something in between. So something that is not terribly detrimental, but something that they will need support in, right? That you can take or leave. So for me, it was my orange flag was the fact that I don't have the greatest relationship with my family of origin. Like I was doing a lot of therapy about it back when I was single, a lot of healing about that. And I thought that was a glaring orange flag for me, almost a red flag. And anyway, so they're very personal to every person and every client has them. Even Jamie Zhu has orange flags, right? Right. So everyone has them. Okay. And then the other person has to hear that and go, or when they relearn what the orange flags are, the other person has to go, can I handle that? Can I support this person in that if I become their life partner? That's a really genuine, real question. Okay, where was I? So I was saying, what was I saying, Kevin?
Orange flags? We're talking about the safety, attraction, leadership.
Yeah, okay. So the 6 out of 10. Okay. So being kind and being grounded, because men want a woman, yes, who is beautiful and attractive and youthful and fertile and all that kind of stuff. But the good news is that women in their 20s who are very, very attractive are also very immature. And that is one thing that women who are 28, 29, in their 30s have over women who are a lot younger and hotter. They are kinder, they're more grounded, they understand how hard life is, and they understand that men who are successful are good at surviving and can take care of them. So if you're a woman and you are mature, be kind, be nice to men, be kind to men, give him a go, and your groundedness will be very attractive to a mature man.
Wow. There's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
There's always a trade-off. To the young, attractive ones, they're not mature, but to the older ones, they have the groundedness, they have the emotional maturity. And you're absolutely right. What you're saying is absolutely right. The amount of guys that I know that are single, that are probably a little bit older, they all say the same thing. Yeah. They all say, oh, I just want someone who's like simple man, who's not crazy. And I was just like, wow, like he's they've gotten to the point, like who's just nice, not crazy. He's not gonna, force me to do this or force me to do that. It's really interesting. You've really brought up some great points, Jess. And honestly, there's still so many threads that we can pull. But I just want to say thank you. It's such an amazing conversation. I want to ask you this: what do you feel like as a matchmaker / coach you do differently?
I confront them on their immaturity.
Wow.
Yeah, and if I don't yet, I warn them that I'm going to do that.
Tell them what they need to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because and I say to them, I want you to win.
Yeah.
I want you to marry the love of your life.
Yeah.
That is why you've hired me.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to give me that permission, then I don't want your money.
Wow.
I don't want to work with you, and I don't want your money.
Yeah.
Because dealing with the stress of an immature client is not worth it for me. I'm a mother of 2 small children.
Yeah.
I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking as a mother of 2, I think it's time we wrap up this episode.
Yeah. It is. I'll finish by saying, like, man, like, who do you want as a coach? Do you want someone who's going to be nice to you and then you're not going to get the results, or do you want someone who's going to tell you the truth? And Jess, I think you're someone who really, really, really believes in the truth, and I think people need that.
Yeah.
So anyway, great conversation.
Thank you.
We love you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
See you next
If
week.
you want to be married forever, hire me.